You mentored a lot of students, you've done a lot of real life projects, and you've been a professor. So, what inspired you? You were a professor at 22.
In my family, we had many generations who were into teaching. We had this legacy of teaching and giving back to the society for quite a longer period of time. This coming into the teaching profession was one of the things on my book list.
We've become this so biased because of social media. And do you think there should be some more regulations or the way social media works in our country?
To put it in a nutshell, one sentence is enough, is that don't be a tool of your tools. There should be an authoritative power, there should be a formal bureaucracy in certain ways, okay, so that we can streamline our society into a very developmental way.
When you talk about content, what is the advice that you want to give your children?
See to it that you have a story and just speak it out to the world. Okay, you don't need to be technically sharp. Experiment on smaller basis.
You said there are opportunities in pre-production, post-production, in working with political parties, working with the government. Government also does a lot of media.
Yes. So. For college students, there are two searches which you can definitely do. One is on the website of Niti Aayog, and then there is something called as the Young Professionals, which is done by almost all the ministries. Okay, and even you have fellowships at the state level as well.
Joining us today is Mr. Yash Rane, an educator and a media professional, bridging academia, industry, and community engagement. Yash's career reflects a deep commitment to empowering educators and preparing students for the future of media, technology, and learning. From reporting on ground to mentoring over 1,000 students and guiding real-world projects, Yash continues practical insights with academic expertise. Let's welcome Yash to the podcast. Yash, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So Yash, they said, Yash Rane is coming to meet me. He's a professor, and I was expecting a much older gentleman to come and meet me, but yeah, pretty young. And as I introduce you, before the podcast, you mentored a lot of students. You've done a lot of real life projects, and you've been a professor. So, what inspired you? I guess you finished your college and then you started, applying for a professor job. So just tell me about that journey.
Quite. I come from a typical Maharashtrian family, and in my family, we had many generations who were into teaching. Even my grandmother, she was a Sangeet Shikshika in a school of Mumbai. Apart from that, two other females in my family are headmistress in a school.
Wow.
So we had this legacy of teaching and giving back to the society for quite a longer period of time. Cut to my line in the generation, this coming into the teaching profession was one of the things on my book list. So I thought about it since the childhood, and then I accomplished my dream.
Okay. So you were doing your
My BMM.
BMM, right? You finished your BMM and you immediately you had to do some
masters.
You had So just tell me about your educational background and how and what. So you told me the pivoting point to come to education, but what all you had to do to become a professor?
Okay, so after completing my 10th class, I took science. I started to study computer science for my 11th and my 12th, and then I shifted to mass media. Okay. Why to mass media? Because when I was in 12th standard, I started to work as a journalist, ground reporting, doing it for entertainment bits.
Where was this?
This was with Maharashtra Times.
Maharashtra Times.
Okay, on assignment basis. And through this, I started to explore how the media domain is, how the media industry is, how it works so fast, how the life is so thrilling, and that motivated me to pursue a career and have also a formal education in mass media. So I took my admission to bachelor's in mass media. I did a specialization in journalism, and after which I also did a master's in communication and journalism from Mumbai University.
So you did your master's, and then you said you also had to do some certification to get into teaching, right?
To come into teaching for college students, you are supposed to crack the SET exam, which is for state level, and then there is also a NET exam, which is for the national level. Preparing for the SET exam makes you completely prepared, as in how your pedagogy methodology should be, how you should be researching, how you should be interacting with your students, how your communication skills should be, how you should be updating yourself, and apart from that, how you are shaping the society in whole.
Hmm.
So that was amazing.
Nice.
And once I cleared it in my first attempt, I took a job for being an assistant professor, wherein for
Where was
three.
this?
This was in Panvel,
In Padua.
okay, for a private college. And over there, I had amazing experience to be a teacher, to be a college professor in full terms. Why?
How old were you
Because
when this was happening?
this was at the age of 21 or 22.
You were a professor at 22.
22.
Wow.
Yes. And then for 3.5 years, it all went good. It was so amazing. I had very amazing students. And there's a difference between the students as they were 20 years ago and the students which are now. Right now, what I see in students is that they are quite extracurricular in terms of their academics. They understand what to pursue career wise and where to look upon for opportunities. So
They are more hungry, you mean to say?
they're more hungry, and they do give a lot of give and take in terms of the teacher student relation. So there's a lot of things which I get to learn from them, and there's a lot of things which they get to learn from me as well.
Nice. So you were a professor for 3.5 years, and of course you may have done a lot of real life projects with them. You were also a reporter,
Yes.
right? So talk to us about your reporting life. What did you do? What was interesting? Because you've chosen media as a profession, and you're teaching other students to get into this profession. So what inspired you to be, a reporter? Like, I want to do
A
this ground
reporter
job.
is someone who tells story of the current and in a very factual manner. It is not like some kind of dream writing or some sort of poetry. Here, whatever you are writing is purely time based. So when you are writing a story, your name is attached as your byline. You become popular for that time, but then your popularity doesn't remain over there. You again have to work hard for the next story, for the third story, for the fourth story. So that keeps you constantly motivated to look on for newer and newer things. And that is the point where you still learn new things every day. You don't become stagnant. So that inspired me. And while choosing to be a reporter, yes, my father was a photojournalist. He used to cover the Mumbai Ganesh Utsav back in the 80s and 90s. Okay, many of his photographs have always been in major newspapers.
Iconic pictures.
Yes, so that was inspiring for me, and it was like that. Yes, I can reach out to the people through this manner. So newspapers were the medium for me, and then since my language studies was also very higher, I decided to go for writing.
Okay. So you used to write in English, Hindi, Marathi, which language?
Marathi, specifically Marathi.
Specifically Marathi. So there is some, we see a lot of people talking about languages, that, how many languages should be compulsory, what is the importance of mother tongue versus regional tongue, and whether English, we are talking in English right now, right? English should be like a common language. What are your views on language?
Language is not just a way of communication, but it is also a way of manipulating and convincing as well. Okay, let's imagine a scenario that we are at the airport and wherein everybody is speaking in one language, English. Okay, now there are certain concepts which cannot be purely explained in English. Okay, certain regional terms like kudar or musri, okay, which do not have relevance in this current era, but they share us a shared culture amongst the people. Okay, connecting people through such words is a way of building stronger bonds. So when I talk about regional language or the mother tongue, it actually helps a child to understand properly how the culture is evolving around his surrounding, and then accordingly he can cope up with the external environment as well.
Nice. Even I agree that, and there's enough research and study that children who have multilingual, they are wired differently, they are more intelligent. It really helps them, to be better learners, right? So I was just talking from the perspective of whether it should be forced or it should not be forced, right? I do know that knowing one extra language is always helpful, right? Because you can break barriers much easily, you know.
Okay. So, polishing my mother tongue Marathi has helped me a lot career wise. Just consider this one thing. There's this company which has come to a college for placement. Okay. They have an opening for a copywriter in a particular regional language. Okay. Now, everybody in that college has already learned English. Okay. And if they have a specific requirement for, let's say, Telugu, Marathi, or Kannada, the number of competitors
Will reduce
reduces.
automatically.
So when you polish your mother tongue, it benefits you in a lot many ways. Okay, people look upon you as a language scholar. They come and ask you that what should be the correct way. If you are really venturing into that particular zone, you could be the next Shakespeare. Like before Shakespeare gave us the 400 words or the 400 words or the other idioms to the English language, nobody had actually used them.
Yeah.
Okay, but once he gave those words formally in a written manner, we started to use them.
Correct.
So in the same way, as and as the technology emerges, as and as the society changes, okay, you could be the pioneer to give new words to your language, and then people can remember you as a legacy.
Yeah, like what Gen Z is doing with English language right now, right?
Yes.
There's so many new terms. It's very difficult to cope up, you know. I mean, I'm sure you must be more in tune with all those terms, but for me, it becomes more and more difficult because, you know, I've been speaking English all my life, but all the new words really confuse me. But I get your point. So yes, languages. You know, I buy your point completely. Language is extremely important. Coming back to the journalism part, you know, a lot of students want to. I see a lot of students wanting to do either a BBA or, you know, mass media, and, you know, they're looking opportunities in, say, TV or in, say, news or films, right? And it looks very glossy from outside. You as a professor, how do you? So when they come in, they must be coming with some ideas in their head, right? When they're learning. So how do you give them a reality check?
Okay, so when we talk about the M&E industry, the media and the entertainment industry, it has always been a glamorous world. Like even from the 90s, during the 90s and the 80s also, we had seen a lot many people leaving their families, running to Mumbai
Yeah.
for a glamorous career. But when they come over here, they get a reality check that things are not that easy. Okay, so in the same way, when we look upon all these areas as a full-time career, and we are lucky to have, I mean, this generation, we are lucky to have all these things streamlined in a proper curriculum course. Okay, this helps you to not just understand how the industry is going, but it is also your responsibility to figure out what will be the future trends in it. Okay, so accordingly, when we talk about careers like BBA, BBM, BMM, or other management related things, these are specific for a particular time period. Meaning, if I talk about in my media domain, you remember there used to be these piracy movie DVD sellers outside the station. Okay, that was a trend for 10 years or for 15 years. Okay, they used to sit outside the station, they used to do the piracy, and they used to sell it, and it
Correct.
was a big economy.
Yeah.
Okay, but have you ever wondered that what these people are doing right now? The technology has gone down. I mean, the technology is out of the line of DVDs. Okay, then what have they shifted to? Okay, so when you're coming into this particular industry, one thing which you need to understand is that these specific job roles of the tertiary sector are for a specific time zone. Over the period, you have to learn new things, you have to unlearn the previous things and evolve yourself out.
So what do you tell the students who are like, you know, I'm going to be the next XYZ of the industry? How do you give them the reality check?
The reality check that don't just rely on your curriculum. Okay, many a times we have heard students saying that this curriculum is boring, the industry is very different than what we have learned in the classroom. But that is not the only thing. Even as teachers, we have to constantly keep updating ourselves in terms of pedagogy, in terms of AI. Okay, one classic example is that previously when you used to do any certification course, maybe it is typing or MSCIT in that case. Okay, it was meant for a lifetime, meaning once you get that certificate, you're done with it. Now, when you go to do a particular certificate course on, let's say, digital marketing, it comes with a time validity. That this certificate is valid only till the year 2027 or till the year
The tech will
2028.
change completely.
Okay. Because yes, the technology is going to change, the algorithm is going to change. Okay. And that is why we need to constantly update ourselves. So if we are with that one thinking ki, yes, I'll clear an exam or I'll appear for a certificate course, I'll get the certificate and it will be there in my portfolio for lifetime. No, that is not going to be the case.
So let me break it down. If so, I'm sure when somebody comes in the media profession, media and entertainment, they are not looking at one type of a job. There will be many things, right? So
Yes.
I'm from technician to an artist, right? So all those things open up, right? Technician, obviously, they'll have to constantly upgrade because technology keeps changing. Even as an artist, or if they're trying to become a journalist or a reporter or a content creator, do you think that in that also they have to continuously upgrade themselves?
It is not about upgrading yourself
Hmm.
in cognition.
Hmm.
You just have to experiment newer and newer things.
Yeah, then you are thing.
Okay. So I work with a lot many social media projects and the algorithm changes again and again. There is a new feature which Instagram adds up, there is a new feature which Facebook adds up, and then we have to learn it again from the scratch.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
content might not get pushed forward,
Yes.
right?
The algorithm or the rules change every time, and then you have to understand it by experimenting only. It cannot be like, okay, I'll go on YouTube, I'll figure out what the new algorithm is. No, unless and until you don't try it, you will not figure out the way.
Okay. So, we moved on to social media. So, I have a lot of questions regarding social media because I think everybody's on social media, right? Right from even school kids going up to working professionals. Even my parents are on social media, right? So, nobody's untouched by this phenomena of Facebook and Instagram and all that. As a media professional, do you feel that the way the algorithms are set up, because sometimes it will show so much negative content, and if you like something, then you will keep on getting that. So, let me explain it further. So, if you hate something, right, and you forward that, you'll constantly be given that hate,
Yes,
videos.
yes.
If you like something and you forward it, only those things. So if you're a foodie, you'll only get food. If you go to the gym, you'll only get gym. If you like a political party, then you'll only get that political party.
For sure.
Uh, and the repercussions. We've become a country where not the entire country, but we have people who had such strong views. Like few days back, I read a lawyer threw a shoe inside the court, right?
Yes.
And I'm thinking, like, of course there were people like that, bordered on sanity, because you're not supposed, as a professional, you're not supposed to behave like that. Uh, but we've become this so biased because of social media. And do you think there should be some more regulations or the way social media works in our country? What are your views on social media? First of all, I understand it's a tool, but as a media profession, you understand it's a tool which is doing good and bad. So from that perspective, I wanted your
Okay.
views.
So to put it in just in a nutshell, one sentence is enough, is that don't be a tool of your tools.
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay. You know that social media is there to help you out, to figure it out, to sort your daily life problems like ChatGPT and all. Okay. But then don't be completely dependent on it. Don't give that particular thing the dominance to manipulate you. Be very selective. See to it who is the content creator. See to it which sources are you referring to. Okay. Like even today, the readership of newspapers has decreased, but yet we are trustful about a newspaper. Why?
Correct.
Because it is printed.
Yeah.
If something is coming on the social media, I would not say I disagree to it, but it can be taken down. Like it can be deleted. So let's say I'm taking a particular number from the internet and I'm going for a debate, okay, and then the opponent or the opposite party asks me, okay, give me the proof of
Where's
this
your
this
data
thing,
coming from?
okay,
Yeah.
and if that person has already deleted it, I'll obviously fall on my face, okay.
Yeah.
So I have to be choosy about what content I am searching for rather than what content is being fed up on my feed.
Yeah. So you feel that a lot of content on social media is fake.
No.
I am saying not all. I'm saying a lot of content is fake.
Okay.
Do you think a lot of content where there's data coming in is fake data? Fake?
Yes, yes, yes.
Is it to when you say don't become a tool to social media? What you're trying to say is that social media is also trying to influence you and create you into a tool. So I'm sure there's a lot of data which is inspired to make you think in a certain way. So do you think that happens a lot?
That do happens, but then it also depends on the way you have your upbringing.
Hmm.
Okay. uh, just like we say that if the soil is good, if the fertilizer is good, the crop will be also good. Okay, so in
Yeah.
the same way, the
But the
choices
weather
of what
also.
you are searching on the internet
Hmm.
has a lot of influence by how your upbringing has been.
Hmm.
So if the former generation is quite educated, is thoughtful, former generation meaning the parents,
Hmm.
the same values will be reflected in the child.
Hmm.
Okay, at my generation or at our generation, in
No, you're
a
way younger
in
than me,
a
so your
no, but
generation.
still on a larger complex is
Hmm.
that as a media educator, one of the things which pisses me off is that even my parents forward a lot many messages on WhatsApp,
Correct.
and now I know that this is fake, this is get
Manipulation.
manipulating, and this will get back to him, but then I cannot explain it to them every now and then
Hmm.
कि पापा आप जो शेयर कर रहे हो वो गलत है या फिर क्या आपने उसे
No, I
वेरीफाई किया
understand
क्या
older generation because they are also trying to understand social media, right? So, for them, this is, oh, I'm learning a tech, and if it's coming through tech, then it has to be true. So I understand that. But sometimes I'm also surprised with younger generation forwarding stuff to each other. I do feel that social media is for entertainment, right? It has to be pure entertainment, and you cannot take data from it and start fighting with your friends and family, because generally, invariably, even if we don't talk about it, we do forward each other political views on social media, right?
we
See,
do.
this is what he did or this is what she did, and it ends up creating. But I believe that there's a lot of data to manipulate how we think.
Uh, See, when we talk about Gen Z
Hmm.
and the upcoming generations, one very interesting part of them is that they don't take political opinions too strongly,
Hmm.
because for them and even for us, political opinions and political facts are coming through memes.
Hmm.
Memes are not meant for informing.
Yeah.
Memes are meant for entertainment only.
Entertainment.
Okay. So every time you see any pappu joke
Hmm.
or you see any of a community joke, it is always in the form of entertainment only,
Hmm.
satire or dark humor. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a change in the way how the newer generation is taking upon facts.
Yeah. Okay, so more on social media, like I definitely feel there should be some regulations. To give you an example, in China, TikTok is highly regulated, right? So children under 14 cannot do more than 40 minutes on social media. Content is more filtered, it's more educational. Your global TikTok trends might not be pushed forward, right? So they're doing something correct, I feel, focusing on the youth because they can be influenced very easily. Do you think some sort of regulation like this, as a strictly media professional, what are your views that we should also bring forward some regulations like this?
Before bringing any such kind of a regulation, the social conception about the word regulation has to be changed a lot.
Hmm.
For example, when I say the word regulation, what comes to your mind? What comes to one's mind is that regulation means some kind of restrictions.
Hmm.
But no, you can look at it in a very positive approach that regulation is a way of disciplining something.
Correct.
Okay, so unless and until we give up, we give up this casual Indian approach
Hmm.
of it's fine, things can be done casually,
Hmm.
19-20 हो जाता है, that will not help us to become a completely developed nation.
Hmm.
Okay, so not all regulations are to be looked upon in a negative manner, but yes, they streamline you, they discipline you. When it comes to one of our neighboring country, okay, who is having population approximately the same to us, despite having the huge number of population, they are developing in a lot many sectors. Why? Because they have disciplined themselves. Here, I don't want to criticize democracy, but one of the con part of democracy is that where if you give everyone an opportunity to give their opinion, it becomes like a fish market.
Correct. Yeah.
So there should be an authoritative power. There should be a formal bureaucracy in certain ways, okay, so that we can streamline our society into a very developmental way.
Yeah, see, I totally I get that part where you're saying everybody doesn't, just because everybody has an opinion, that doesn't mean, their opinion has to be taken seriously. Uh, Again, my point is, you're a media professional, so you know what is happening in the media. So your voice does matter, right? My previous avatar, I've been in advertising and media, so I know how media and advertising can influence your behavior. In fact, advertising is the core concept of advertising is how do I manipulate behavior to get the outcome that I want, right? So
Yes.
now, in 20 years, it's gone far ahead with social media and all that. So from that perspective, you're right. If you can discipline, uh, discipline can be self-imposed also. If you're highly motivated and disciplined, you can do it. But I think sometimes not all people are like that, right? And some sort of regulation, disciplining is required. Would
That
you
would
agree
be
with me?
the yes, yes. See,
Okay.
that would be the other part, the other face of the coin.
Hmm.
Okay, and when these two are in balance, or when these two are in coexistence, it can be fruitfully effective.
Yeah. So let's not put it as regulation. At least we can educate, right? So through our channel,
Okay.
we can at least educate the children that uh, social media, yes, it's great as long as you're trying to go on YouTube and find out how do I solve this problem, or how do I crack this project. Uh, I think it's fine. If you want to get entertained for 30 minutes, it's fine. But beyond that, the doom scrolling, bed rotting, all these are the new terms where you just sit and go on social
One
media
of
whole
the
day.
amazing part which I explored and enjoyed during my teaching tenure was that students never complete their assignments on time.
Hmm.
Okay, they always wait till the last minute,
Correct.
and then with the advent of the AI, they are always figuring out some or the other way to casually do it. Here, when they are doing it, there are a few students who understand the significance of time. They take help of these AI tools, and they really do a good job in
Hmm.
their assignments. Okay, as a teacher, when we evaluate their assignments, it is surprising to us that how can a student with very limited resources or with no studio setup and all, okay, they are having a quite polished assignment,
Hmm.
okay, which deserves full marks. Okay, so this using of or application of innovations
Hmm.
into your regular courseworks is something very interesting. So
Hmm.
when we talk about the regulation terms over there, we can look upon it as a guideline part, that
Hmm.
okay, using this AI technology, I can polish myself, I
Hmm.
can improve myself.
Hmm.
Okay, so that was something very amazing for me to figure it out. The students are figuring out things on their own, and they are coming with a very polished version of themselves.
Yeah. No, children are far ahead. Like, by the time most of us moved to TikTok, WhatsApp, children had already moved to other platforms of chatting, right? They are
Yes.
chatting on Instagram DMs, and they're chatting on some other
Snapchat as well.
some other platform, right? So by the time we got used to WhatsApp, the youth had already moved. So they are much quicker than the teachers. That I completely get, right? By the time teachers get to understand technology, they've already mastered it. They've figured out a loophole. How do I use this loophole to?
Not completely to agree with this thing, because there are the teacher student relation has changed a lot in
Okay.
the last 20 to 30 years. Okay, earlier we used to look upon teacher as a, I mean, for the teachers, the teacher profession was looked upon as a very not say dominating, but knowledge passing and wisdom passing kind of a person. Okay, but now in this generation, we find that teachers are also learning from the students, like what are their ways of copying in an assignment, or figuring out a quick easy way to
Hmm.
do an assignment. But then once we come to know about it, we have a counter
Correct.
application to it. Okay.
So teachers have become more like friends and mentors than just,
Yes, yes, yes.
supreme figure who's like, do this, do that, right? It's no longer true,
No.
especially in your field.
Yes.
Yeah, I think at the school or preschool level, I think still there is still some gap. But I think if it is happening at grad level and post grad level, I think that's great. We spoke about AI and tech, and you said children are already using it. So how do you see future of media through the lens of technology and AI?
Uh, the generation shapes the trends.
Hmm.
The younger generation also shapes what should be liked, what should be disliked. Okay, what are their priorities and what is their media uses habits.
Hmm.
Okay, in this term, there is a fascinating work done by the UNESCO.
Hmm.
Okay, so UNESCO has something called as the MIL, or the MIL is the media and information literacy.
Hmm.
Like how I call a person literate is based on if he or she can read, write, speak in a
Hmm.
particular language. In the same way, there is something called as the digital literacy. In the same way, there is something called as the MIL, or the media and information literacy.
Nice.
What MIL does is that MIL has got a few guidelines. They have
Hmm.
got five laws of MIL. Okay, and as a parent, once I'm aware about those,
Hmm.
the same values will be passed on into my children, and accordingly, my child will also properly understand how much to use the medium, to what extent, and in
Hmm.
what ways it can be fruitful to him or her.
So what are these 5 laws, if you can quickly tell us? Not too much in
Okay.
detail, whatever you remember.
One is that so these five laws. One is that every source of knowledge is legible, meaning uh, if I say, if I'm in a debate and if I give a particular number to you, okay, and you'll be like, कि ये कहाँ पे लिखा है मुझे दिखाओ करके, and I say that this was published in an internet article or in a blog वगैरह, someone might not accept it,
Hmm.
saying that this is on the internet, this could be made up. Okay, you show me if it is in the newspaper, then only I'll believe. Okay, but as the technology has evolved, even the data which is available on internet and other sources is also equally legible.
Hmm.
Okay, then every person has the right to be a sender or a creator,
Hmm.
meaning nobody should be discriminated or nobody should be restricted from creating content,
Hmm.
is what we are doing right now.
Correct.
Okay, we do not need a government license to run a YouTube channel,
Hmm.
but if I want to run a television channel, I do need a government license.
Correct.
Okay, so under this MIL, this is a significant application of the same of this same law system of the MIL, that everyone has the right to be a creator. Everyone also has the right to access information, meaning to be a recipient.
Correct.
Okay, so nobody should be banned from reaching out to our podcast or to any other content. Okay, when you talk about our neighboring country that they have got specific restrictions and regulations and guidelines, that would be a
In a democratic setup, that's not
yes.
allowed.
Okay.
That's what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So there are these five laws, and which are very simple, very easy to understand. If you are aware about it, you can definitely have a upper hand in communications.
Okay. So coming back to my question on tech, right? So where do you see this tech taking the next generation of creators or next generation of media professionals?
Okay.
Do you think that AI will play a part? Do you see a lot of, instead of me sitting here, there would be a AI generated avatar talking to you?
AI is really amazing. I mean, I still find people talking negative things about AI, that this is some kind of copy paste work, or this is some kind of
Fad.
effortless work.
Okay.
Okay, but no, that is not the case. AI is amazing in terms of not just content creation, but polishing your language. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm a first time assignee and I have been asked to write a very formal letter. Okay, now I might not have experience in that particular domain of writing formal letters or in writing in a very polished language. Okay, in this case, AI is helping me. I get to learn a lot many things instead of finding out a subject expert or a particular person, okay, and then giving it a specific time. But AI is amazing. The sooner we accept it and not prejudice about it, it will be beneficial for us.
So how do you see say in 10 years, 15 years, how do you see your industry shaping because of AI and tech?
Trends do change after every 6 months. Every smartphone gets outdated after every 18 months. That is the average
Correct.
span. Okay. The ministries are also using AI on a larger level. Okay, there is this amazing tool of the government of India which is Bhashini, and there is also one Adivani. Okay, so what Bhashini does is that if you are coming from some different part of India and I am coming from some different part of India, in real time,
Translator?
it translates our live conversation.
Nice.
Okay, and not just that, our government has also went one step further. There is another feature given by our government, that is the Adivani. What Adivani does is that Adivani does translation for conversations and also language learning center for tribal languages of India. Okay, which is very amazing, and it is still in the beta mode right now. But if you use it, it has got its own Shabdakosh dictionary. Okay, wherein you get open to newer concepts in tribal India and how their lifestyle would be. So AI is really amazing.
Okay, and you see it changing the media landscape
Yes,
significantly?
it is also changing the governance as well.
Okay. So, if a student is, in his, say, first year or whichever year, right, they've chosen this field, what what are the different job opportunities you think that, see, because as a layman, right, suppose I've been from advertising, but if I was a layman and if somebody said media, then I would just think about two things. Either I'm a reporter, working with television news, or I'm making some content with TV or films. Now, of course, YouTube and all that. But what are the various other avenues media professionals can get into?
Yes, there are a lot many avenues which one can explore, whether it is from pre-production and to the post-production as well. Okay, people usually look upon the production phase only. Like there could be a cameraman, there could be an assistant to him, or there could be actor, director, which are the most typical jobs. Okay, but apart from that, in the pre-production phase and in the post-production phase, there is a lot of economy associated to it. Okay, and which hardly few people get to understand that even I can earn revenue from those phases as well. The budgeting for a movie, specifically movies if we talk, earlier 100% of the budget, or let's say 90% of the budget, was purely based on pre-production and production only. Now in the recent times, in the last 2 decades, you find that the amount of money spent on the promotion of a film is approximately 30 to 40% of the whole budget.
Wow, that's quite significant.
What does that tell to me? That there is a huge impetus and there is a huge potential for me in the post-production phase of a particular content. Okay. Same also applies to elections as well. 2014 was a drastic case study for us to understand that how post-production and how post-communications or even pre-communications are equally important.
In elections?
Yes.
Right?
In
Yeah,
elections.
we do see, a lot of newspaper ads and a lot of, communication by political parties. So you do feel that there is a big opportunity working with political parties as well?
There is definitely a big opportunity. One of the best part of the Indian society is that we are into a lot many categories of religion, caste, language. Okay. Now, when I say these three words, religion, caste, language, creed, okay, one might take them in a negative conception. But when you are a media person, you have to look at the bright side of it. Okay. Let's say, for example, in India, there are only 3 languages. It could be any 3 languages. Okay. Now, when there are only 3 languages, and if I want to become a translator or a writer or a script writer, okay, the number of competitors will also be more.
And those opportunities will disappear, right?
Okay. Okay. But when I have 22 scheduled languages as per the constitution, and then there are even other regional dialects also, okay, that gives me an upper hand. So I've been always advising even to my students that polish your mother tongue very strongly. Okay. It is not like I'm speaking in my house and I know my language or I know my mother tongue, but no, you have to understand the grammar part and all other aspects so that you can do better copywriting, you can do better dialogue writing, you can do better script writing, as well as you can write better those rules and regulation pamphlets which you get after buying a product, the instruction manual and all,
Correct,
which
correct.
uses a very formal language.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you are able to write that, then you are an amazing, then you have actually polished or scaled up on your language. Okay, and when talking about the Indian market, we really have an amazing platform to showcase our talent. Okay, the same if I try to do in the US or in any singular or bilingual country,
Then the
the
opportunities will, yeah,
competitors will rise
opportunities
up.
will be limited and competition will be really high. A very, very interesting point. And I do believe that creative writing in regional languages will have space even in the future. I'm not too sure about technical writing because I think AI will do that technical writing, right?
But AI is being trained by humans only.
Yeah. So even training, you require somebody who knows the language, right? So yeah,
Yes.
okay, I get your point. So language will be important, right? I mean, knowing different languages will be important. No, very interesting. So you said there are opportunities in pre-production, post-production, in working with political parties, working with the government. Government also does a lot of media, so
Yes.
opportunities over there as well.
Yes, there are a lot many opportunities by the government.
Do you
One,
have any examples of what children can do after finishing their media studies? How can they either join a political party or government?
okay, so this is for all college students,
Hmm.
and even for students who are in their 12th or in their 10th class as well. The government of India has opened a diverse range of opportunities for you to explore and to start your career. Okay, one is that talking about the school level, the government of India is hosting hackathon and buildathons on a larger level. So wherein you get complete mentorship, you get complete training. Only thing is that you have to access that information. We cannot always crib about the government that we want the government to do more, but no, the government is already doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay, there are generations of IAS officers, the think tank and the policy pool makers who want the nation to be developed, who are working relentlessly for the same. Okay, only thing is that when we have a huge population, it is also the population's responsibility that please search on the internet for these openings. Okay, so for the school level, yes, you have hackathons and buildathons, and then there are even a lot many competitions also. Okay, like this symbol of the Indian rupee, which is half R, and then you get those two horizontal strips. Okay, how was it decided? It was decided by a competition only. Okay, that is where you get these calligraphy writers an opportunity to go on a national level. Okay, but you have to look for such opportunities on the government websites. Okay, for college students, uh, there are two searches which you can definitely do. One is by on the website of Niti Aayog. Okay, so Niti Aayog is the think tank of the government of India, which is constantly into looking for professionals, for people with experience to come on the government side and execute. Okay, and then there is something called as the young professionals, which is done by almost all the ministries. Okay, and even you have fellowships at the state level as well. Okay, in Maharashtra we have the CM fellowship, the Chief Minister fellowship, which is an amazing program wherein students based on their previous work experiences, even if it is a 1 year work experience in any of the domain, okay, you become eligible to appear for that examination, and then once you crack it, you actually start to have first hand experience with the government. So that is really quite amazing, which one should definitely look for. So two keywords I want you to search. Okay, one is Niti Aayog openings, and second one is young professionals.
Nice. This is very informative. We'll try to add the website and all that in the
Sure, sure.
post. Uh, you said work with the government, and there are a lot of opportunities. Another question is, does it pay well? Because a
It
lot of
pays,
people,
it
want
pays
to.
amazing.
Yeah.
It makes your doors open to a lot many communications. Okay, uh, if you look at it in a negative manner, like that this is very contractual or this is very tenure based something, but that particular experience adds on to your portfolio, and you can actually start venturing out in the private sector on a bigger level.
So you were also telling me. So one is, of course, if it is tenure based, it'll give you exposure and the sort of experience I can only imagine, because you're working at a national level or even at a state level. corporates is very, any corporate is a very small, no matter how large the corporate, it is still very, very limited exposure compared to state or government wise. Uh, the other thing that you spoke about, before we started the podcast, and I really found it interesting, is you said you recommend every student to do some sort of internship.
Yes.
So, I know why you said that, but for the benefit of our viewers, if you can explain that, because you are also a product of that internship, and it opened a lot of doors for you. So speak about that. Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about unaided courses or management courses are the ones which are not in the same typical ones like your BA, BCom or BSc. Okay. When we talk about management courses and the unaided courses, we are referring to the tertiary sector. Okay. Now, when I'm referring to the tertiary sector, it will be always changing as per the emerging trends or as per the emerging technology. Okay. I even find students complaining or cribbing that the syllabus is outdated or these things are not as per the industry standards. Okay. But that is the basic skeleton of your knowledge, which you need to study thoroughly. That will give you a
It's a
full-fledged
foundation.
foundation. Okay. And when it comes to job placements and all, one reality check which I would which I do want to give to everyone is that don't pursue a particular course from a particular institution based on the placement things. The college is meant to give you education, it is not meant to give you a financial stability. Get that fact clear. Okay. Based on the knowledge, it is up to you in which particular vertical or in which particular horizontal of a particular domain you want to explore. Okay. So if you are with a thinking that if I do a particular course from a particular college or from a particular institution, the placement amount will be so and so, you need to rethink again. Okay. And talking about internships actually give you a real life exposure to where the industry is right now. Okay. And never waste your time during your college days. The moment you have a summer vacation or something, hunt for one or the other thing, but do some kind of internship.
So at one level, you're saying college is giving you the right foundation, and internship sort of builds on that foundation and gives you a real life sort of check that this is where you are and this is what the industry wants. And then I think with AI, you can also upgrade your skills, right? Whatever you're lacking, and you can. I think it's a great perspective. I think a lot of students will benefit if you take this advice seriously. Okay, so no, based on this question, I thought of the other question, other topic that we were discussing, before the podcast, is that how much money a parent should spend, because all these courses are there. You're saying it's college. Don't choose college from where I'm getting placed or by the fancy title of the college, or like this college is very famous. Don't choose it from that perspective. Choose it from a perspective that how much I can learn, what I can take from this college. But then that brings to the point that like parents are spending crazy amount. Luckily this year, a lot of Indians are, and I think the trend was already happening since last 1-2 years, where a lot of Indian students, including my own daughter, she said, I don't want to go abroad and study. I want to study in India, right? And maybe post grad, if I find something interesting, then I'll go. And she chose an Indian college. What do you think is the right way? Going abroad, studying, spending a lot of money in education, not spending a lot of money? How do you see it?
Okay. When you look at the fee structure, I look upon it as an investment. And when I'm talking about investment, I'm expecting heavy returns.
Correct.
Okay. Up to the school level or up to the 11th and the 12th standard, I would strongly recommend go for the simplest method of education. Okay. When it comes to your college studies, the undergraduation, okay, start having approach, or rather I would say explore the market, but in a good company. Now when I say in a good company, what I mean is that the niche of students in a particular college or in a particular institute, based on your likings of a particular domain, select, work hard for that institution so that you will be getting an admission over there, and accordingly spend. Okay. When it comes to post graduation, think twice. All the education that you start to pursue after your graduation, you should be doing it very wisely. Number one thing is that globally, a bachelor's degree is enough to make you eligible for a job role. The basic requirement is that that for a good paying job or for a good thing, a bachelor's degree is mandatory. Okay. Any other qualification which you're doing is an add-on. Okay. So when you're spending on the add-on, think upon it that how much will be the return on your investment. There is a crazy fad amongst those in the teaching industry that they want to pursue a PhD. Okay. The number of PhD candidates who want to enroll themselves versus the number of guides available in a government, in a public university is very different. Okay. In this case, the next option which they are left with is to do a PhD in a private institution. Okay. But if you are doing a PhD in a private institution, paying 6 digits as a yearly fee, and if the returns are not that good, you have done a bad choice. So, what the ideal thing I would suggest is that though I have not done a PhD, but I cracked the PET exam thrice, okay, from a public university only, okay, is that look upon your PhD as a return on investment policy. If you are sure that you will be getting XYZ amount in returns, then only invest your money. Otherwise, just to have a prefix, that would not sound quite happening or quite friendly to your pocket.
Yeah. No, this part I completely understand from personal point of view, because I've done my master's. You know, at some point in my life, I thought, and when I mean some point, this is during lockdown, I thought, I'll get a PhD done. And I have no aim of getting any financial return out of it, right? I'm like, okay, it'll be a great title to have. But then I saw the courses in private, and I'm like, why do I need to spend so much money? I don't know how to monetize it further, right? So I get your point completely.
So even my teachers, when I was doing my post-graduation from Mumbai University, okay, a few of them hadn't even started their PhD. A few of them were pursuing PhD, okay, and these teachers are in their late 30s or after 35, okay. And I was in a hurry that, okay, after completing masters, I want to go for a PhD, okay. But then I realized that if these teachers are not in a hurry, okay, they are doing it easily after getting married or after getting kids, okay, there must be some reason behind it. So it is better I'll not, push myself in the race, but rather do things as the time comes.
Yeah, and PhD does help. You know, if a student is thinking of getting a PhD in, say, media,
PhD,
entertainment,
not in the media field. There's a reason. Media is purely an assignment-based industry. Okay. For example, if I'm going for a financial thing, like paying for an insurance or something, it is going to be a recurring thing. Okay. So I can have my CA for every year. I mean, I can have the same guy positioned to be my CA for every year. Okay. But when I'm talking about a photographer, I never pay a photographer on monthly basis. I pay a photographer
for a lifetime, just assignments,
for
right?
an assignment base. Okay. So especially when you are in a unaided course like management or media, okay, or aviation sector in that case, okay, think upon PhD as something of your gratification, as something of your wisdom expanding thing, okay. But while looking at it from a financial perspective, think twice.
Okay. Yeah. So, we've spoken about a lot of things, but, there's one topic that I like to speak to all media professionals is about the content creation, right? We did speak about content very vaguely, about the, fake content, to ignite passion, in a negative or a positive way. But where do you see, and I'm talking this from the movie industry perspective. I don't know if you want to talk about it or you have any point of view, because some of your students might want to join movie industry or television industry. Where do you see that content going? Now the latest hit is Kantara Part 1, or whatever. What is it called?
Kantara Part 2.
Kantara Part 2. And that's become a huge hit. And it brings me to your explanation of very regional context it's a folklore, which is now made into a
Big sale thing.
pan India movie, right? And everybody is watching. But it's a story of a very specific region, of a very specific culture, right? And now probably globally also accepted. I was watching some, white people reviewing it, and some Hispanics reviewing it, and all that. So when you talk about content, what is the advice that you want to give your children, and where do you see this content going? Because I think Bollywood is losing big time right now because they've not got their content part correctly.
No. See, one thing is that let's come to our basics of biology. Okay, man is a social animal.
Correct.
Okay, this implies two things. One is that man is one of the animals which are existing on the earth, and secondly, when I talk about it, it's from the social perspective. That when I add the adjective that man is a social animal, man has always been loving communication. When man is loving communication, man is also enjoying stories. Okay, looking at it from the Bollywood perspective to the regional stories, okay, trends do change. Every sector, every domain has a climax period, and then there is a downfall. Then there is again a revival or an upskill thing if it is happening. Okay, but stories will never die.
Correct. I agree.
Okay.
So from that perspective, how are you, like, when you're teaching students about content design or creating content, how do you manage to tell them what is relevant? Because if it is cyclic, or if it follows the bell curve of the peaks and troughs, then how are you guiding them? And if you can guide some content creators right
now. So
now.
in terms of content creation, see to it that you have a story and just speak it out to the world. Okay, you don't need to be technically sharp. Experiment on smaller basis. Even if it is a 5 megapixel smartphone that you have, there are content creators who did not have technical knowledge about other technical terms. I've seen content creators in rural parts of Maharashtra who are creating amazing content. There are even old age ladies who are just cooking the traditional dishes, and they are getting viewers and subscribers in 6 digits and in 7 digits. Okay, reaching the YouTube gold button in some rural part of Maharashtra is something very fascinating to talk about the media industry. But when you're getting all these free resources, utilize them, experiment with them. Okay, and to be on an upper scale in it, when I'm saying that you need to be a storyteller, firstly you need to read stories. So if you're like, no, I just have a device and I'll just shoot something and I'll put it out, no. Okay, I want not just my students but everyone to be a quality content creator and not just a junk creator. There's a difference. You will create an amazing content which will gain not the TRPs, okay, but it will hit the million number of views and all, but on the next day you will be forgotten. So your content will be having zero reshelf value. Okay, but when you study some things in deep knowledge and start presenting it out in stories, it will be remembered for a longer period of time. Okay, so one suggestion to every content creator out is that I agree to it that you are following trends, it is giving you popularity, people are recognizing you, okay, but then in the long run you are replaceable.
Okay, so read. If you want to become a good content creator, keep reading.
Read, observe, start to understand how the algorithm works or what kind of color palettes, visuals also work. Okay, let's say for example that if I talk about the Mahabharata, okay, now Mahabharata has been made in the Indian media industry for last 50 to 60 years. Okay, like from the time when Dada Saheb Phalke ji started making mythological films to even now, even when we find Netflix and all making shows like Kurukshetra vagare, it is the same story. But the same story has been made again and again and again. Why? Because it has a deeper perspective to literature. And then you had also seen daily soaps, very popular daily soaps, which are focused only on one particular character, like Suryaputra Karna. Okay, again a part of Mahabharata only, but then again a completely new serial from the perspective of Karna. Okay, or there was another version of Ramayana which spoke from Sita's version.
Correct.
Okay.
There's a book also on
yes.
it. Yeah.
So accordingly, when you start reading, you start exploring characters, it makes you understand that what I should be telling out to the people. What should people imbibe from my story? Rather than just giving them a junk content, what should people learn from my story, and how I can be a trendsetter?
Correct. Interesting. And so no, I think it's an interesting take on how to create stories. I think we've spoken about, I think, everything related to media. Finally, for students watching, uh, what is that one advice, not a long advice, like a short advice that, hey, follow these three things and probably you'll be successful in the industry?
Okay. Uh, Three things. One is a lifelong thing which you'll be constantly doing. Okay. One is that always keep experimenting. And the other two things which I would suggest is that two books which every person should read. Okay. One is the Arthashastra by Chanakya. And when I'm telling you to read the Arthashastra by Chanakya, I am referring to the original version, not some translation of an already translated work. I'm purely talking about the original manuscript. It might be hard for you to get, but do search for it. Why? Because over the period when Arthashastra was translated by other renderings, okay, personal adaptations or personal views
Biases came
do
in.
get bashed into it. Okay, but then see to it that how Kautilya has written the book. Okay, and his writings are such that they are applicable in all the phases of the human race. Okay, he talks some very harsh truths about society, about women as well, but then those will make you understand that how you should perceive the society, how you should let the society to perceive you. Okay, so yes, one book is Kautilya's Arthashastra, and okay, to quote one more thing about him, Kautilya also talks about parenting, about how I should parent, okay, and how my relation to my parent should be. Over there, he talks about three phases. Okay, one is that till your child is from the age of 0 to 5, pamper your child as much as you want. You know that the new toy which you will be bringing to your child, okay, will be broken in the next hour, but still don't be sad about it or don't get upset about it.
Don't be harsh.
बच्चा जो भी मांग रहा है उसको दे दो. Okay, from the age of 5 to 16, the stick rule. If your child is not behaving good, raise hand, discipline him. That is the only way. Okay, and after the age of 16, never raise your hand on your kids. Okay, why? Because this is a very mentally developed stage of the child, and during such period, if you are being harsh to your child, there are chances that the child will slowly start to differentiate him or herself from the family. Okay, so in parenting terms, it is best advised by Chanakya is that after the age of 16, always treat your son and your daughter as a friend only. Okay, and never interchange these phases. Okay, so when the child is small and when the mother is scolding or the father is scolding, and then the other parent is like, no, this is my one precious gem, I'll take care of him. No, there are things that are meant to be done at that right time only. So in the same way, just like the societal or the family institutional context, okay, Chanakya writes a lot of things about the other parts of the economy of the society as well. Okay, so one book is that, and the other book is Pesha Bajirao One's biography. Okay, so Bajirao One, whom we mostly popularly know him for the Bajirao Mastani thing, but apart from that, he was an amazing administrator. Just imagine a guy having a lifespan of only 40 years. Okay, he became the president, the prime minister, Pantapradhan Peshwa, at the age of 20. Can you imagine a 20-year-old kid becoming the prime minister and then proving his skills?
Correct.
Okay, living only a life of up to 40. Okay, and in those 20 years, he did some very remarkable works. Didn't lost a single battle. All these things. Okay, so studying him is something very great for me. Okay, so these two books is something what I would definitely want people to read about.
And you were saying three advice, so you finished at two advice.
Yeah, the second one was Chanakya Niti and the third one was
these are
Pesha
three,
Bajirao one.
Okay, nice. No, this is really valuable. I mean, I didn't know about Peshwa, so I'm gonna read about Peshwa Bajirao. Is it a small book, big book?
No, there are different books. He didn't write about his own autobiography, but then
So,
there are English renderings. Then even when you talk about this movie by Sanjay Leela Bansali on Eros now, the OTT platform, he had also made a cartoon-based small series of the same, so which you can also check it out. Okay, which is really amazing. I
yeah,
mean, just imagine a guy becoming the prime minister, taking the responsibilities and handling all his responsibilities very well.
yeah. No, no, I'm a big fan of the Maratha Empire. I think by the time Britishers came to India, I think about 85% of the India was already won back from the invaders. So, uh, I mean, they don't get as much as um, respect in a, or as much as uh, space in our history books as they're supposed to get, right? And that is something that if I was, writing the curriculum, I would definitely change that because I think they have some amazing history and they've done some
Your
amazing
well
work.
wishes have already become true because of the NEP, the new education policy. There's a subject called as IKS,
Hmm.
Indian Knowledge System, which has been made compulsory
Hmm.
for all undergraduate courses, wherein all these Indian ethos, Indian knowledge skills like craftsmanship,
Hmm.
Varli painting,
Hmm.
or the architectural styles, or how we refer to Lord Ganesha as the चौसष्ट कलांचा अधिपती, meaning the master of the 64 arts. So
Hmm.
what are these 64 arts?
Hmm.
Okay, how I can look upon them as a profession. So this is
Nice.
something being touched upon through that subject.
Very good. And this is at grad level or this
Yes,
is
at grad level.
amazing. So I think Yash, this was wonderful talking to you. I have learned so many things from you today, especially from what uh, you know options are available, in the media field to what all actually government is doing, because sometimes we are so blindsided by whatever the media, negativity that sometimes, that media keeps forcing, headlines. But there are a lot of good things which are happening and, we are blindsided by it. I think thank you very much for bringing it out. We'll try to add URLs of, a lot of things that he said and, maybe, uh, you know, give some description in the description where which websites to go. Thank you very much for your time, and I
Thank you very
really enjoyed talking to
much.
you. And
Yes.
hopefully we'll call you again and discuss
Sure.
more about NEP and the Maratha Samrajya if you would like to talk
Sure,
about it.
definitely. I would go hours and hours on that. Thank
Yeah.
you for calling me over here. It was great talking to you. It was great that you are not just a host, but also a great listener.
Thank you very
So
much.
thank you for that.
Thank you. And that's about it. In another episode of Education Matters by JK, do like and subscribe. Thank you very much.